That's my second uncle. That's my dad. That's my dad. Right there.
What house will do like modern stuff?
Oh my god.
看不笑，对呀。对，往那走。家里才来。Hello。
你食死你啊？點樣炸？阿爺嚇？炸咗。酸登登咩？
Hello, Cheryl.
Hi.
That's a very lovely dress you have on.
Thank you.
So this picture right here is of her maternal village. We will get to that later. The video clip is of your paternal village. Can you tell me why you chose that clip?
I chose that clip because it was a pretty big shock to see a picture of my dad. I chose to do roots because my dad has been ill for quite some time now and has recently gotten worse. So I chose to do roots to honor him and his family in a lot of ways. I used to be pretty close to them, but just through growing up, I haven't been very close to them. So that clip was of my great uncle, my grandfather's younger brother, who I didn't realize lived in China. I actually didn't know I was going to see that village just because in our research prior to going to China, there was some miscommunication around the name of the village. So I found out the night before I was going, and that was pretty emotional because I wasn't mentally prepared, and it was pretty heavy.
What did you take away the most from your father's rooting? Paternal side village rooting.
I have never felt Chinese enough for that side of the family. I never spoke Chinese as well as because I have one of 8 cousins. I'm in the middle, mostly girls. So I always kind of got lost in the pack and allowed that to happen. And so I've never, and in Chinese culture, you know, you're not encouraged to be individual. And I never felt as pretty, as smart, as accomplished. And so going to China and being the cousin that went to China and who got to see the family was pretty important to me. And meeting my great uncle and then seeing a picture of my dad brought it full circle. It made me realize that my Chinese identity doesn't end and begin with my immediate family or even my first cousins who it's been pretty rocky with, right? It's really about who you make of it and who becomes your family. Like you and everybody here has become my family. The leaders have become my family. And so watching everyone have fun and hanging out with the villagers, some of whom were part of my lineage, was the most powerful part in me realizing how to define family now.
And now this photo of your maternal side. Can you tell us what's going on?
Sure. So unfortunately, I did not get to see my maternal ancestral home. Then the day before, we were driving to Chuzhou, and that was a day-long drive in rough conditions, and we were essentially chasing a typhoon. And so the next day when we got there, first we didn't realize it was my village, which we'll hear more about later. And so I was able to see kind of a former home that my relatives used to live in, and so that's us standing in 1.5 to 2 feet of water. It's funny because Al told me that he wasn't gonna go, and so I waded through, like a bunch of us rode on motorcycles driven by kids. It was kind of terrifying. And the next thing I knew, I hear someone calling my name, and I turn around and Al's holding his shoes, his like dress pants are rolled up, and he's standing in 1.5 feet of water for me, just to help me get through this and translate for me.
Sorry, I forget. What was the context? Why was there water in the village?
So it was flooded. And so I guess when it gets flooded, people kind of just let the water dissipate on its own. And so unfortunately, for safety reasons, not everybody could go.
And what did you take away from your mother's room?
I was pretty disappointed. I'm very close to my mother's side of the family. They have been there for every birthday, every accomplishment, every graduation. And so it was kind of emotionally hard for me to not be able to pray at that altar. I did get to go see an altar that was close, but who knows? Maybe you'll see another intern in me.
Thank you, Cheryl.